Now, I'd like to introduce you to a very talented young poet from the village of Fiskerton, just outside Lincoln. He appeared back on room 20 of the Reading Room. You'll find that on our podcast. And he's just released his new poetry book called The Daft Menagerie. Ladies and gentlemen, Andrew Goulding.
Thanks very much. Since the day I became unemployed, I've been growing depressed and annoyed. Still, I've made a new start and I've taken up art. It's a subject I've always enjoyed. My latest artistic pursuit is historical figures in fruit. I've made Fred Astaire from a ripe conference pear and a pineapple-based King Canute. The famous explorer Magellan, or the ship-launching visage of Helen, can be caricatured, if you're really that bored, with a wig and a honeydew melon. I've spent the best part of today on George Eliot for my display. She wrote Silas Marner, she's now a banana. I think she would want it that way. Thanks. All my poems are very silly and very short, so provided you don't show too much appreciation, we can get through quite a lot of them. This one's called The Scarecrow's Compensatory Factor. I'm just a hay-brained scarecrow and I'm far from academic. I can't discuss mathematics or political polemic, but while I may fall short of ever passing my degree, nobody scares the crows away as beautifully as me. To my bird-spooking tactics, all you graduates must yield. I may not have a brain, but I'm outstanding in my field. Thanks. Now, you might not know it to look at me, but I'm actually a bit of a romantic, and so I'd like to read you a couple of love poems now. This first one's called Commercial Break. Your hair's a golden waterfall. Your eyes are so hypnotic. Your lips are full and sensuous. Your yogurt's probiotic. Your voice is low and husky, and your wit is so laconic. Your laugh is loud and hearty, and your sport drink's isotonic. Your beauty is so spellbinding, I cannot look away. Your sales unbelievable, but must end Saturday. How tragic that society has been through such debasement that even our love poetry makes room for product placement. This one's called Not Tonight, Dear. The brave knight fell on bended knee before his lady love and spoke the words, to me you are an angel from above. But unbeknownst to him she was a lifelong atheist, which thus recast his compliment, to me you don't exist. I'm going to read to you now from my new book, my only book actually. It's called The Daft Menagerie. I just published it this month. This is a book of animal poems, beautifully illustrated by my friend Rachel Burnett. And I'll be selling these in the bar later if anyone's interested, but wait till you hear the poems first. This is called The Newt. Although his observations are incisive and astute, you'll never hear opinions or pronouncements from a newt. He'll never interject, proclaim, agree with, or refute the pains of being intelligent while also being mute. This is called The Budgie. A geriatric budgie thought his marbles must be going when feathers on his right-hand side abruptly started growing. They grew and grew until they filled a quarter of his cage, which only proves the theory you grow more right-wing with age. Cheers. This is called The Lemming. Few creatures are more upbeat than the happy little lemming, who's subject of a slanderous myth that's worthy of condemning. They say he's suicidal, just like Ernest Hemingway, but except in urban legend, that is not the lemming way. Is that a groan I heard? This one's called The Worm. Go-karts, skateboards, rollerblades, and mountain bikes would be high up on the causes list of worm fatality. So if you're walking down the road and come across a worm, a fat one means a school day and a flat one means half term. And finally, for the animal poems, this is called The Oyster. A teenage oyster grew depressed with life under the sea and holed up in a darkened room proclaiming, woe is me. His father told the oyster, son, it's clear that you are thirsting for something more exciting and the world is full to bursting with wondrous things for you to do and sights you could be seeing. So get out there and live your life. The world's your human being. Thanks. I'm going to finish now with a slightly longer poem. This is called Sincerity, 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 Punchline. I've never been an expert in romantic conversation. I suffer with a terminal emotional constipation. You see, I have a problem with the art of being sincere. I panic, get embarrassed, and succumb to social fear. Then rather than declare my love, I blush and make a joke and leave with tail between my legs and wish I'd never spoke. With every girl I fall for, it's the same thing every time. Sincerity, 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 punchline. I've never had much trouble making lovely women laugh, but it's not much consolation in the lonely aftermath when they're in the arms of some guy who can speak what's in his heart in the way that I intend to, but can only make a start. And I can't get to the next page. 2/3 into my speech, I inadvertently ad-lib, a joke or witticism that's hilarious but glib, and makes her laugh but only serves to wreck and undermine. Sincerity, 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 punchline. But long ago there was a time I almost broke the curse, back when I was at school before this tendency got worse. When speaking to the girl I loved, I found to my delight I'd tapped an unknown eloquence with not a joke in sight. I thought this time I'd cracked it, and I would have, but alas, I couldn't get the whole thing out before the end of class. The bell rang and disturbed my speech before I made her mine. Sincerity, 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 lunchtime. Thanks very much.